the soul is refreshed and eager and ready for life's experiences. And this is a Sunday morning, wherever you are, beloved virtual community, Unity Atlanta community, I invite you to join me in a celebration. This is our 5th Lent Sunday. We've been traveling a journey, whole and holy, a healing journey into Easter. And one of the ways that we know that we have traveled some wonderful sacred steps is that we can celebrate how far we've come. And so when our beloved founder in Unity, Myrtle Fillmore, is speaking about the soul maturity, that God's Spirit within us is infallible when we yield ourselves to its guidance, we cannot make an incorrect step. And I invite us this morning to unpack this wondrous teaching a little more. And our wisdom that we want to celebrate this morning has nothing to do with age on the calendar. It doesn't matter whether we're just tuning in this morning for the very first time. And if we are, how wonderful that we are together by divine appointment, or whether we've been working this tradition for many, many years. What our gift is that wealth of experience. As Myrtle Fillmore teaches, that the soul has built the body, and the body is that divine temple of God in, around, and through which we express. And so I invite us with a little bit of apology to the commercial I have taken this from, that our celebration today is because we know a thing or two, because we've lived and learned a thing or two. I know I have, and I believe each and every one of us virtually has as well. And one of the things that's been interesting in this journey that we've been taking for this Lent season, in this time that we have been moving toward Easter, is that we have gotten, some of us, very attached to the calendar and dates and how long is this going to go on and when can we all go back to normal, whatever that's going to be. And that one of the things we know, because we've lived a thing or two and learned in the process, is that things happen as they happen. And when Myrtle Fillmore speaks to us about the soul maturity, and she uses that word, let's look at this one more time, exactly as she says it, that the soul is ever unfolding God's ideas, and these are unchangeable. They are ours, no matter what. And she says that we use that more mature judgment so that we can live from that place of wisdom. And I want this morning, with a shout out to our youth and family ministry, Unity Atlanta, that's meeting also virtually today. They're working on their 12 powers. And that we have this wonderful power that we call wisdom. And packed within that wisdom is this word judgment. And judgment doesn't mean like, I'm the judge, I'm gonna, not like that kind of judgment. It's the kind of judgment that allows us to make wise decisions grounded in faith. That we discern. Discernment means taking what information we have and using our experience of life, everything up to these moments, to choose, as our affirmation says this morning, what's best for us. Because doctor, our eyes have seen a few things. They have. And the scriptures say to us, and then their eyes were open. And we can say, wow, okay, I can see what's going on here. I can use what I already know to make the very best choices for me and my life. And so one of the things that's happening around us and in the media and on lots of different memes and through different social threads, whatever they are, is this word unprecedented. This is unprecedented, meaning this has never happened before. Well, not so much in our lifetime. Although we know 100 years ago there was disease. Some of us studied the plague. We know that certain things occur. Some of us remember things that have come before. It's that doctor my eyes have seen. Okay, maybe not exactly this way. And so we don't allow that unprecedented label to cover up and cloud over the wisdom and experience we already have of life. Because our soul maturity has taught us a thing or two. And I know sometimes in our teaching, people say some things, and this would be maybe the less mature platitude that we try to comfort ourselves with. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. I'd invite us this morning to consider that the teacher is always there. And in our spiritual maturity, it's up to us to kind of look around for a minute and see what's in front of us. That our wisdom, that wonderful power that we have from all that life that we've already lived, no matter what our age. Myrtle says the age doesn't matter. This is about how we're allowing the soul maturity to come forth in us. And I also invite us to consider that our wisdom, because I can imagine someone in virtual land saying, I haven't read all this stuff, I didn't study all this stuff, I don't know all this stuff. And it's not about the intelligence of the brain. It isn't about how many degrees we have or how much schooling we have or how many Unity New Thought classes we've taken up until this moment. It's about how we choose to take what we've already learned and use it not only for our personal greater good. It is true, we need to do our own work first. Our licensed Unity teacher, Cora Alexander, calls it doing your own work, which we sometimes do at home, and sometimes, at least previously, we used to do in a crowd. And it invites us to consider first, what's going on with us? What does this mean to me in this experience? Because the truth is, we're not going to be sheltered in place for all eternity. And we may be doing a gorgeous job sitting home in solitude and, we're with our houseplants and our kitties and we're off on our hike. But the truth is, our wise masters, Jesus the Christ, the way shower, the Buddha, they were out among the people. It wasn't like, I'm going to go up to the mountaintop or I'm going to look up here for God and I'm going to, get this divine message and it's all going to be okay. But we do our own work because what we want to do is be better than we were an hour ago, yesterday, last week. And in certain ways, maybe it isn't comfortable to have to kind of sit with ourselves, to look at these things that are happening in the world. Maybe some of us feel helpless or hopeless or overwhelmed. And yet everything within us, that wisdom, that experience that we already have, invites us To say to ourselves, you know what, self, family, whoever we're with, we can say it to the kitty cat. I know a thing or two because I've lived a thing or two and I've learned some stuff. And that is a celebration. Because it takes us from that, oh my God, the sky is going to crash in any second, to, okay, I got this. That we're celebrating those aha moments of wisdom. Because our soul's maturity remembers that all things work together for good for those who love God. And here's the thing about wisdom. Our wisdom does not act on its own. We need our spiritual strength. And it's not the, how many pounds can I press over my head kind of strength. Sometimes it's the strength of digging in. It's the kind of strength of being comfortable as we are for now. Our strength is grounded in the sense of faith. And so, however we're praying, we don't need to pray in these moments that we need more faith. We already have that well of faith within us. What we want to do is breathe deeply. Anchor ourselves in that awesome power of faith that we already have. It's that spiritual idea that going deep within actually takes the most strength of all to do our own work, to look at ourselves, to see that God is in the midst of this and all things that are occurring. There's another power that works so fully with this. And it's a power that we celebrated in February, which gets called the month of love. Part of wisdom is having love for ourselves. The cool stuff and the not so cool stuff, because we know a thing or two because we learned a thing or two, and thank goodness that's not floating through Instagram, some of those life experiences. And we love ourselves because we are able to keep learning, and it has nothing to do with our age. If we never open another book to study something, if we never Google another question, if we keep doing that inner work that builds that divine soul maturity, we are becoming wise in the world. The truth is, as we talk about these things, that celebrating our wisdom requires that we really celebrate all aspects of ourselves. We take that wisdom, we take that faith, we take that strength. We affirm things like take any of these and use them if you want to say, hey, I've got this. I can do this. I can get through this. And even if some people think that this is unprecedented, I've lived through some stuff. I know a thing or two because, I've lived a thing or two. And when we remember that all things work together for good, for those who love God, wisdom reminds us that life has a way of sorting itself out. And nowhere in sacred scripture is it written, we gotta like it, or that we're going to enjoy all of it. But wisdom allows us to let life unfold and to step in and do our part. the part that we take with it, the faith, the strength, the wisdom, and the love, is the thing that is the truth of spiritual maturity, and it is why we love spiritual masters. Because when we combine these powers, we are given the gift of compassion. We know a thing or two because we've lived a thing or two. We've learned some stuff. And so we are kind, we are patient, we are understanding with those around us who are learning a thing or two themselves. And we celebrate the open mind, the open heart, and the great maturity we have achieved on this day as we go forth to be a blessing in the world. Your wisdom, your faith, your strength, your love, virtual community is a great gift. Celebrate it. I rejoice with you, and I love you. Namaste.